Welcome to CBN4's Primetime News. I am your presenter, Sheena Harry. A former Miss Dominica, journalist, and TV and radio broadcaster has been named government's new press secretary. Kamala John Baptist Aaron, who has worked in the field of media for decades, has taken up the position and will work with Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, the cabinet, and the media. John Baptist Aaron was a former female talk show host of The Hang on Kyrie FM and also worked in the wider Caribbean region, including Antigua and Barbuda. She replaces former press secretary Daryl Titt. Women in Dominica got the opportunity to learn how to grow their businesses. Here's CBN4's Shanna Esprit to tell us more.
The Women Innovators Network of the Caribbean recently launched the Acceleration Program here in Dominica. The program was spearheaded by the Entrepreneurship Program for Innovation in the Caribbean, funded by the Government of Canada and the World Bank. Practice Manager for Innovation and Entrepreneurship at World Bank Group, Ganesh Rasagam, stated, "We have drawn on global best practices to design a program specifically for women whose driving objective is to grow their companies. This acceleration program is holistic and at the same time specifically tailored to needs of the individuals. It underscores our commitment to promoting the sustainable growth of women-led businesses," he continued. 10 Dominican women entrepreneurs participated in the first session. The 8-month program is aimed at providing the women with a wide range of support services to help boost their businesses. EPIC is focused on the areas of digital entrepreneurship, climate technology, and women-led entrepreneurship.
Also making our news headlines, the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development, in collaboration with UNICEF, held its last leg of workshops to build awareness about the Child-Friendly School Initiative. The workshops, which were held at the Dominica Public Service Union building for sports officers and teachers of secondary schools, today engaged bus drivers who regularly transport students to and from school. The bus drivers were educated on the do's and don'ts of the CFS initiative and were also urged to maintain the safety and well-being of the students. Acting Senior Planning Officer Wifali Jules, in her address to the bus drivers, said the bus transportation scheme for students was initiated as a result of the safety issues which students encountered.
Engage in unsafe practices such as walking home from school, getting home at late hours, and accepting rides from strangers. To date, we have 9 government-owned buses and 87 private contracted buses. You, the bus drivers, are the first systematic contacts that students encounter upon leaving their homes for school. Therefore, you need to be aware that you are fully responsible for the welfare and safety of students during that journey.
Jules informed the bus drivers that their primary responsibility is to ensure the security and safety of every child.
The bus driver should ensure that your bus is free from violence and all forms of bullying. Also, the type of music played on the bus should at no time incite violence or negativity. Additionally, the conversation you engage in with and around the children, the speed at which you drive, the physical appearance of your bus, your interaction with the students, and pick-up time should reflect the standards that are mandated by child-friendly schools. We want the buses to become child-friendly, where students can feel and be safe at all times.
Meanwhile, consultant Stevenson Hyacinth stated that the learning environment is not only within the walls of the schools, but the buses as well. He indicated to the bus drivers that their buses should be an extension of the physical building of a school, and whatever they do on the bus with the students should impact their learning abilities and skills.
You, in fact, are a teacher. And we're going to spend some time to look at that this morning, your role as bus drivers, not bus drivers per se, but bus drivers who are teachers. Because in your company on a day-to-day basis, you have children, and they learn from examples. What they see, they follow. What they hear, they imitate. And they go out and they do it. So we'll spend some time today looking at that, and in the final analysis, we'll come up with some recommendations that you can implement on your bus on a day-to-day basis. That's the purpose of this workshop.
The ministry will hold workshops at later dates targeted at early childhood practitioners, religious leaders, and members of the media. The Douglas Charles Airport officially reopened today with the scheduled arrival of a commercial flight by noon. All essential services have been fully restored. Late afternoon on Tuesday, the Douglas Charles Airport was closed due to flooding caused by the Melville Hall River, which affected the ground floor of the airport terminal. Based on an assessment done by airport personnel, the runway and aircraft parking areas were not affected. However, because of the flooding of the terminal building, the airfield was temporarily closed. Following the passage of Tropical Storm Erica in August of 2015, the government of Dominica signed a $31.27 million contract with Sotradam SAS to undertake rehabilitation works of the facility to include the following scope: the western end of the runway, resurfacing of the apron, resurfacing of the taxiways, restoration of the runway shoulders, drainage along that runway, repairs to the access road, and construction of retaining walls along the river, restoration of the runway drainage, and rehabilitation of the damaged road leading to Wesley. Work is ongoing and is expected to be completed by June of this year. In addition to further improving the safety of the Douglas Charles Airport, dredging of the Melville Hall River will commence as soon as the level of the river recedes. The Ministry of Public Works and Ports apologized for any inconvenience that was caused as a result of that closure and wishes to thank the traveling public and the personnel at the airport for understanding the need to take such a decision out of an abundance of caution. A study to gauge whether or not leptospirosis is widespread in Dominica was launched on Tuesday. Once again, here's Shana Esprit.
Leptospirosis is an infectious bacterial disease occurring in rodents, dogs, and other mammals, which can be transmitted to humans. The study is being organized by the Environmental Health Department in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Pan American Health Organization. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Environment, Helen Roye, said this project is timely and relevant as the transmission of leptospirosis in Dominica is of major concern to the Ministry of Health, especially since there have been numerous cases reported since 2010.
This disease has been known to be associated with the contact with rodents and other domestic farm animals worldwide, with numerous species of the organism being attributed to human diseases. Nationally, environmental and epidemiological surveillance has not been able to specifically identify the source of transmission and therefore the numerous risk factors associated with its spread.
According to Roye, in order to adequately prevent and control the spread of leptospirosis, the need to study the factors contributing to this transmission is necessary.
The main objectives of the study are to assess the presence of leptospirosis among rodents, dogs, and farm animals at selected sites in Dominica. 2. To assess the rodent population at selected urban and rural areas. To map the environmental health factors associated with the transmission of leptospirosis leptospirosis within the selected occupations, to improve the knowledge base on risk factors associated with the transmission of leptospirosis in Dominica, and to build Dominica's capacity to monitor and prevent the transmission of leptospirosis.
The study will be conducted over a period of 6 months and is expected to analyze blood and urine samples from animals which potentially transmit leptospirosis, Roy noted. Roy urged the public to cooperate with the studies since most assessments will be conducted at homes, business places, farms, and other areas where the public frequent.
An urban rodent survey to assess the rodent population in both Roseau and Portsmouth to assist us to chart a way forward for our national rodent control program. The findings of this research, therefore, will inform decisions to reduce the potential for transmission of leptospirosis in the country and build upon the knowledge base regarding this disease, not only in Dominica but regionally as well.
PAHO also contributed $15,000 towards the project.
Thank you, Shanna, for that report. Although Dominica has confirmed its first case of the Zika virus, the Ministry of Health and Environment reassured citizens that there is no need for alarm. Health Minister Dr. Kenneth Daru says in response to the new situation, the Ministry of Health and Environment has convened a meeting to review and refine management strategies and guidelines which will shape the ministry's response, and has initiated a rapid and coordinated response to the threat of the disease through planned strategies and programs.
1. Integrated vector control management to include community surveillance, source reduction, chemical management, and by that I mean fogging. Strengthening of port health programs, epidemiological surveillance and healthcare services, public education and awareness. Because the type of mosquito that transmits the Zika is the same that transmits dengue fever and chikungunya, measures used for controlling the spread of the Zika are the same as those applied for the control of these other vector-borne diseases.
Daru stated, the best method of protection from this disease still remains avoiding mosquito bites. The public can protect themselves from mosquito bites by wearing long-sleeved clothing or long pants, and using insect repellents liberally and mosquito nets at night.
The Ministry of Health and Environment is also urging the public to inspect their homes and yards weekly and eliminate potential mosquito breeding sites indoors and outdoors by keeping water drums and barrels tightly covered and throwing out stagnant water from flower vases, old tires, and other containers that might act as breeding sites.
The Ministry of Health informed that this confirmed case does not have any history of traveling outside of Dominica in the recent past and constitutes a locally transmitted case. The Ministry of Health and Environment is therefore urging the public to be vigilant and to continue to take the necessary measures to protect their families and communities as they continue to closely follow the course of this disease. A few weeks ago, we reported on 1-year-old Jairon, who suffers from a severe condition called hydrocephalus, which is a brain condition that occurs when cerebrospinal fluid, that's the clear water-like fluid that surrounds and cushions the brain and the spinal cord, when it is unable to drain from the brain. And this creates excess pressure on the brain, which causes brain swelling. His family, with the help of Dr. Rhonda McIntyre, has been tirelessly trying to raise funds for the necessary surgery that costs more than $50,000. One local organization has risen to the call for help. The West Dominica Children's Federation, an affiliate of Child Fund Caribbean, has donated $4,000 to Jairon's parents, which will assist in the first phase of testing. And Beverly Barron of the Children's Federation said that her organization was very happy to make this contribution.
We are a child advocacy agency, And so assisting Jair and Abraham was something that we normally do, money normally set aside to assist with medical emergencies. However, because of his age and because of the urgency of it, we paid more attention on this occasion.
And his family flew to Martinique, where his testing will be done. Barron said that her organization is still willing to assist further.
To have some collaboration with us in being able to assist, then we would be very open to that.
That is a perfect little interview, Ms. Barron. And those still wishing to make a contribution may still do so by contacting his parents, Sophia Gordon and Ron Abraham, or calling Dr. McIntyre's office. In what he hopes to be a trailblazing precedent, one Dominican musician has decided not to sit on the sidelines while his music is being illegally used for profitable distribution overseas. Notable artist Gordon Henderson has decided to take action against popular Brazilian musician Carlos Santos, who adapted and plagiarized the song Jamais Voir Ça and re-released it without his permission.
So these Brazilian people took my song, changed the lyrics into Portuguese, because that's the language of Brazil, and they sold over 3 million copies of it, and they didn't mention my name anywhere.
Henderson stated that the copyright laws are nothing new. Dominica became part of the Berne Convention, that's the international treaty that addresses international protection of copyright, back in 1999. According to Henderson, he has sought the support of the Ministry of Trade and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who he hopes will engage Brazil in discussions.
It comes in because that song happens to be a calypso song. And calypso is part of the national patrimony. Reggae is not Dominican. There are certain things, Jinping and Bel-Air and calypso, that is part of our cultural, musical identity. And this is why the Dominican government, particularly the Ministry of Trade, because here we are talking about cultural industry, has a duty, a responsibility to defend, a fiduciary responsibility, I should say, to defend any time that our national patrimony is under attack.
So far, he has gotten word from the Ministry of Trade that the matter has been forwarded to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Henderson stated that his hope is to create a sense of pride in what is wholly Dominican and to bring awareness to fellow artists.
Encourage songwriters and composers in Dominica to register their songs, and because you never know, there's no such thing as an old song. A song is valuable property, and you can never tell when it could be worth the owner's while. One of Dominica's opportunities to tell the world that we do have music that large and populous countries like Brazil copy. I am not angry at all, and this is one of the best things that happened to one of my songs.
Jamais Voir Ça was released by Exile One back in 1976 and was written and composed by Gordon Henderson. And that wraps up another edition of Primetime News. As always, we appreciate you choosing us to be your primary news source. Feel free to visit our website, cbn4.com, and send us your feedback. Again, on behalf of our entire news team, thanks for watching.